Let me know if you have some time. I can train and certify you in something else.
You saved our high and mighty queen, eh? Ha! Naaman should have had the crown.
A thousand pardons, but the battle reeve requires your prompt appearance at the proxy queen's court. Battle reeve Tanalina requests your presence at the royal palace. There is a situation developing and you have come highly recommended. Or so we have been led to believe. There are eager ears everywhere, so keep your voice low. The situation involves Sea Slode. The battle reeve has been informed that you dispatched one of the foul creatures. I find that implausible, but as a lowly squire, my opinion doesn't matter. I can tell you that the battle reeve sent 3 adventurers and a squad of marines to determine the extent of the problem. After an initial report, contact with the group was lost. What the battle reeve will ask of you, well, that's for her to impart.
The Office of Divine Prosecution seeks deputies with moral aptitude.
Another femme. Ever since the Queen's decree, I can't take 3 steps without bumping into someone who lacks even a drop of Ultima blood. No offense intended, of course. Shall I presume you're here about the contract work? It's a sad day indeed when the Divine Prosecution requires outside help. But these are tumultuous times. With the army engaged on foreign shores and so many visitors on our island, our resources are stretched thin. Hence the contracts. Each assignment varies in scope, but all assume a certain level of danger. Some can be completed alone, but others will need allies to complete. You'll be asked to dispatch dangerous creatures, investigate suspicious activity. Those sorts of tasks. In accordance with our current regulations, each deputized citizen may accept a single contract from each justiciar every day. You are encouraged, of course, to check back regularly for new assignments. Does this very well. I hereby authorize you to execute duties on behalf of the Divine Prosecution. Seek Justiciars, Farewell and Tenorian for your first assignments. They handle the administration of all contracts. Go speak to Farewell and Tenorian. They can set you up with contracts and get you right to work.
Only the finest wares here.
Your command of the crafts is impressive, but not yet in totality.
I see something within you, a glistening
Cloud rest destroyed by shadows. Could it be true? You have the look of a traveler. Tell me, have you heard news of Cloud rest?
Heed me, brothers and sisters. You look at one another and suspect nothing, but in any heart can lurk the taint of Daedric worship. We have welcomed the tainted Dark Elves and their perverted tribunal creed, the wretched spawn of Trinomac, the Shape-Taker. We give them free reign in our hallowed homeland. We must beware. The gnarled roots of cultists cannot gain purchase.
What do you want? You would challenge me to a duel? How droll. But then how can we have a proper contest? You don't even know the Ultima Code.
Hey, stranger. Been wondering where you got off to. It's good to see you again. Sorry if I'm a little on edge. That elf Lyrindel just dumped a barrel of insults on my head. Mark me, I'm going to knock that loose tongue right out of his mouth. Because I'm not an idiot. Guards see an orc thumping the ears off an elf in the middle of the street. You know how that turns out. Thought if I challenged him to a duel, we could make it legal. But he won't fight unless I challenge him properly. How in oblivion would I know? These elves have rules for everything. How to eat, how to sleep. Of course they've got rules about how to beat each other up. Say, you wouldn't be interested in helping me figure this out, would you? I appreciate the help. Trust me, this is a noble cause. First things first, you'll need to track Lyrindel down and find out how to get this nonsense started. I'd ask him myself, but the urge to punch him might be too much for me. Ah, you know how it is. Orc in a town full of stuck-up Altmer. Same old story. I was in the tavern, washing down a lamb shank with a bottle of wine, minding my own business. Then along comes this beanpole telling me I've got to leave. Why do you think? This island's full of orc haters. Only thing they hate worse than orcs walking the streets is orcs drinking their wine. Lyrindel told me I was stinking up the place, so I told him to yank the stick out of his arse and shove off. He laid into me with everything he had, tongue-lashing me about my tusks, my clothes, my beard, and that's the one that really got my dander up. I put a lot of work into this beard. He ended the whole thing with pig face. Pig face! Damn right! I've been on the receiving end of that one too many times. So now he's going to learn a lesson. Are you kidding me? I could clobber that arseface blindfolded. I'm not one for boast, but since you asked, I'm a 5-time blood-brawling champion. In the Rothgar League, mind you. Used to call me Rogazog the Face Demolisher. Yeah, because I, demolish faces. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it? I always wanted a really sharp moniker, like the Hatchet, or Fist of Malakath, or something like that. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, that elf's in big trouble. I've been asking myself the same thing ever since I stepped off the boat. Thought maybe I'd have a look around, take in the sights. My Aunt Lazbesh used to tell me stories about this place, see? Tales about glass trees and crystal towers and magic ale. Yeah, it's supposed to put your arse over flagging with a single sip. No self-respecting orc would pass up a challenge like that. Unfortunately, I haven't found any magic drinks. Just fancy wine and prissy elves. I don't know why I listened to my aunt. When I was a pup, she got her head stuck in a bucket. Couldn't get it off for a night and a day. So, yeah, Smart Gold says she was making it up. Then again, I'm here on her advice, so who's a real idiot?
Fairly met, Neberar. To what do I owe this profound pleasure? Oh, for Stendar's sake, that business. I won't apologize for speaking the truth. That orc is an uncivilized, gloveless buffoon. I'd sooner duel a frog or a tea kettle. But if he insists on facing me, he'll need to learn our dueling customs. I suggest he read our guide to Altmeri culture. He can read, can't he? There's a copy just there on the table. If he meets the preconditions and notifies my second, Fandalol, I promise to duel that filthy Glennant at the determined place and time.
Back so soon? He blew you off, didn't he? Oh, what I wouldn't give to knock that smug grin off his face. Let me see. Looks like I need a second. An Altmer dueling foil and Lyrandel's full name to recite before the duel. Want to be my second? It'll be worth your time, trust me. I'm going to lay that elf out like a cheap rug. What do you say? You can pick up an elven dueling foil in town. As for Lyrandel's name, he wouldn't shut up about it. Started with Rumelon, I think. It should be chiseled somewhere in the runes of Torheimcard. Arrange the duel with Fandalal and we'll be all set. I'm going to find a good spot near the runes just west of here for our duel. It's the guards, see? Duels are acceptable between high elves, but when an orc's involved, might make them grumpy enough to step in and stop it. We can't let that happen.
Greetings, Walker. How good it is to see a fellow newcomer. This one grows tired of serving these dungy high elves. Unclawed dandies make my tail bristle. But my words wander. What can Nadoni do for you? Dueling sword. Greetings, Dueling sword. Yes, a fine selection. This one has just the thing. A needle-sharp blade wrought from the finest glass. I took it from the lord of this house. Do not judge, it pays me. Nothing fair is fair, yes? It can be yours for the right price. You drive a hard bargain, Walker. But this one is feeling charitable today. Take this blade with Nadani's compliments and good luck with your duel.
You were at Faldar's Tooth when Tharek tried to open a portal to Oblivion.
Down, Kerr. I've got it covered. Would you care to explain why you're tracking me? An artist, you say? Intriguing. I'd accept, but I'm currently occupied with a rather tricky contract.
Unless you wish to perform the task for me, I'm afraid this tableau is out of luck. If you think you're up to the task, this forest is a protectorate of the Sapiarchs. A noble contracted me to poach one of the Indrics and bring him her heart. He wishes to serve it at a feast. Petty defiance is a mask of prestige, you see. We have a deal. You'll collect the heart and I'll meet with Tableau. Kerr will lead you straight to the Indric. I've already given her the scent, so it's as simple as following behind. And then killing the beast, of course. Somerset nobility isn't quite as squeaky clean as they want you to believe. In fact, the pressures of perfection often lead them to some questionable desires. My services allow me to perform more unbecoming tasks, given my social status. I have no family to shame, no name which to soil. I may as well be a shadow, for all the worth I am given. Society would rather ignore me than admit I exist. Of course, this anonymity allows me unprecedented freedom, a blessing within my curse. Yes, I was rejected when I was but a babe. One look upon my face should tell you why. I was raised by the priests of Stendar, stern mer who did not much care to cater towards the whims of a child. It was a cold upbringing. A hulkind, a broken child. That's what I've been all my life, why deny it? But being unwanted, outcast, it's almost a relief. I had no family to please, no name to live up to. I choose my own path. Rejection is almost liberating in that sense.
to keep awake. The squad.
How many more must die? These daggers. There's no end to their number.
Come on, Alamar. Pull yourself together. My aching head. Where in Oblivion am I? Yes, that's right. This is Russefeld. I came here to buy some wine. That's it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, don't tell me I lost them. My wine bottles! They should be right here. Oh, Father's going to kill me if I come home empty-handed. Again. I must have lost them during the winery tour. I may have had one too many tastings. It's all still very hazy. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, by Oblivion, I'm not even sure what day it is. The bottles must be somewhere along the winery grounds. I probably dropped them as we went along. I can barely see straight right now. Could you fetch them for me? I believe we toured the southern, northern, and central arbors. Yes, that sounds right. There should be 3 bottles, all with the Russefeld seal. Now, you go do that. I'm going to lie down for just a minute. Oh, it's the best place for wine in Somerset. Well, at least according to my father it is. That's why he makes me travel all the way here. Honestly, though, it tastes all the same to me. Why, aren't you just hilarious? Yes. Let's bully the tasteless lush who lost his wine. Speaking of which, don't you have bottles to find? I must return to Shimmerine soon, or I'll never hear the end of it. So, off you go. Fine, fine. Let me try to remember. I recall sitting near a fire with someone playing a lute. Yes, that memory's a bit more clear. I believe you'll find the first bottle there. The sunrise, perhaps? It was getting darker then. I took a seat on a stone bench further within the arbor. There was a light behind me, but it was faint. A small lamp, I suppose? Yes, and I had just a hint of my bottle of wedding veil. I remember now. Ah, my rose heart. Strong stuff, if memory serves. I must have been even further within the arbor at that time, probably close to town. I remember falling down quite a few times. It most likely ended up on the ground somewhere. I saw that. Don't try to invoke the right of theft on me. Slack. My head hasn't hurt this bad since, well, actually not that long ago. Perhaps my cousin's wedding last month? But then, there was that little get-together last week. Never mind all that. Have you the bottles? My, don't these beauties look tempting? Perhaps I'll have a few sips, just to get me going before I set off on the road? Here's your reward, for services rendered and all that.
You finally arrived, and with quite a strong stench.
Excuse me a moment, Tableau. I must speak with our mutual acquaintance. Well, this isn't quite what I expected. Your friend is a curious individual. Scribbled constantly as we talked. I had no idea she wished for me to be a model. Well, no matter. Have you the heart? Good. It seems you're as competent a companion as Kerr. I realize our business is concluded, but a complication has arisen which would benefit from your continued assistance. Tableau is quite insistent on finishing her sketch, but it may take a few hours. I'd hate to leave her indisposed after all the trouble she went through to find me. I must request you deliver the heart for me. The inn within Lalandril. The contact's name is Voltarian. Best to deliver the heart before it starts to rot. Wouldn't want to ruin his little feast. You may keep my payment as compensation. A fair trade, after all your work. Lalandril is just to the west. You shouldn't have any trouble.
Manakar? Didn't I tell you to remain seated? I'm only halfway through this sketch.
Well, yes. My apologies.
Let me know if you have some time. Halt! I do not suppose you predicted this, but now is the moment when you surrender and pay your bounty. Fine, I'll let it go this time. The depravity of Daedric worship is running rampant through our lands. Look around! Anyone gathered here could truly be a Daedric-loving fiend. Especially now. See who falls onto our shore.
hello. Well met, friend.
Fairly met, newcomer. Wait, you're the one who was harassing Lyrindel earlier. I presume you've come to talk about this business with the orc. The ruins, eh? A good enough place as any to put that witless oaf in his place. You do know that Lyrindel has fought and won some 80 duels, don't you? No matter. Lyrindel grudgingly accepts this challenge. We shall meet you near the ruins.
I heard your ridiculous challenge. We'll be along presently.
There's my favorite second. Feels like I've been warming these knuckles up for hours. So, what's the story? That scrawny prig accept my challenge? Just look at this sword. I couldn't kill a squirrel with this thing. And this is a name? Looks like somebody's grocery list. Ah, it doesn't matter. I'll improvise.
I formally present Lyrindel, cherished son of the Nevulurel, to accept the orc Rogazog's challenge. So, ready to watch Lyrindel skewer your friend? Skewer may be too harsh a word. We're only fighting to first blood, of course. But then again, accidents do happen. And to whom do you issue this challenge? I'm afraid you'll have to be more specific. Go on. Go on. Ah, there we are. Was that really so hard? Lyrindel accepts Rogazog's challenge and stands ready to fight. I trust your thick-headed friend is duly prepared.
Let's get this over with, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. Come here, fancy pants.
He just... but the rules state... Look, I won't tell anyone about this if you won't. I'll say, I don't know, Lyrindel fell from his horse. Yes, that's it. Just keep that orc away from me.
Ha! By Malakat, that felt good! You know, I never punched a high elf before. Felt like punching a pillowcase full of pudding. Almost feel bad for the little runt. Almost. Huh. Yeah, normally I'd put on a show, but this was personal. Honestly, I took it easy on him. If I'd really poured it on, he'd be breathing through his ear hole. Anyway, thanks for all the help. You ever need somebody knocked out, you let me know, eh? Think I'll stick around the while. Great view, huh? Sore knuckles, a stiff salt breeze. Huh. You know what? I take it all back. Somerset's not so bad after all.
Hey, grab a drink.
I heard what you did at the Guard Traveler. Oriel,
The depravity of Daedric worship is running rampant through our lands. Look around! Anyone gathered here could truly be a Daedric-loving fiend.
Bless us with children, our mother of God.
As I have said, the Proxy Queen is unable to hold an audience with petitioners at this time. There are other affairs that require her attention.
And when will your ever-busy Proxy Queen see us?
Does she even intend on receiving our petitions? Or does she cast us aside like the rest of you high elves?
Many affairs compete for the Proxy Queen's attention. The complaints of newcomers do not rank as a matter of priority, simply put.
How dare you dismiss me, as though I was some commoner? I refuse to leave this spot until my petition is heard.
The same goes for me.
I have no time to deal with whatever issue concerns you, newcomer. I recently received word that all of Somerset faces an imminent threat from a source we believed had disappeared long ago. Of course, you must be the newcomer the Queen's cat told me about. If you really killed a sea slode, then you might be just what I need to keep the situation from completely spinning out of my control. Will you help defend Somerset? A group of adventurers volunteered to investigate the possible incursion. I received a single report that indicated they were making progress, but that was the last I heard from them. Kynar, Grog, and Miria seem capable enough, but Sea Slode... The mage Kynar radiated an air of confidence, as did the Red Guard Miria. They seemed extremely competent. The orc, though, Grog, I think he called himself, appeared to be in a constant state of inebriation. Drunk! He was as intoxicated as a Nord on festival day. I took a chance because the situation seemed desperate, and by the stars it appears that I'm going to do so again. For all our sakes, I hope you don't disappoint me too. The Elba ruins. We lost a patrol in that area a few weeks back. That must be where Kynar and his associates first picked up the Sea Slode's trail. They weren't sure what they were hunting, but they definitely caught scent of vile creatures. Without more information, there's no target to attack. Besides, I don't have an army at my disposal right now. The majority of our forces are committed to the continent and the Three Banners War. I must rely on the forces at hand. Frankly, I thought Sea Slodes were just a myth. Other than the report from Razumdar, I have no solid evidence of this so-called incursion. That said, the disappearance of Kynar and the Marines I sent out has given me cause for concern.
How can Rigert negotiate peace if stupid High Elves won't talk to him? Most excellent to be seeing you again, my bestest friend. It is me, Rigert. The Ebonheart Pact sent me to extend a branch of peace to snooty, rude, and very tall High Elf peoples. Unfortunately, my mission has ended before it has even begun. The Glorious Pact sent Rigert to bargain with Queen Irene, to use my considerable charms to woo High Elves to talk of peace and an end to the Three Banners War. I even brought gifts to bestow upon the pretty queen. But Rigert has failed. Again. These tall, skinny elves, they have so many rules. Did you know Queen Irene isn't even on Somerset? And to get an audience with her proxy queen requires some sort of proper introduction. Vindilween won't let me set foot in the palace without one. You would help Rigert? That makes my heart dance like young ones at a Mara's Day ball. Speak to Courtier Vindilween and find out how we get one of these proper High Elf introductions. Remember, I brought gifts. That's sure to open a few doors. Rigert is the bestest ambassador in all of Skyrim. Sometimes I think the Nord cultural exchange was created just to take advantage of my talents and inaptitudes. I think that was the word the Thane used. Anyway, Rigert has come to end the war. The Three Banners War. Terrible business. I was drinking at the Skald King's court when I mentioned how silly it was to fight over an empty throne. Next morning, they put me on a boat and sent me here. Rigert always gets the most important missions. If we can get an audience with her, or her proxy queen, I will certainly try. An ongoing war with no end in sight can't be good for either side. Plus, Rigert can be very persuasive, especially when I bring gifts. Rigert has no idea. Vindilween kept talking about laws and rules and customs, said a simple Nord like me would never understand. But with you to help navigate these cultural conundrums, Rigert will be having tea with the proxy queen in no time. What's to tell? Vindilween's a self-important royal lackey who thinks her armpits smell like fresh linen. If the snooty High Elves have ministers of culture, then Vindilween is definitely their king. Go talk to her and see for yourself. Oh, such treasures I brought. Gifts that any Nord would kill for, and many have. I brought wonderments from the vaults of Windhelm, a depressing stuffed goat, Dibella's bosom knight favor, and essence of mammoth. An excellent treasure. This was King Yoren's prized pet Badir, known for her bravery. She once faced down a horde of rampaging orcs. The Skald King stuffed and mounted her for display, but found it too depressing to keep on the mantle. Something every virile man and woman can appreciate. This bust of Dibella, god of beauty and erotic instruction, holds a place of honor in many Nord bedchambers. Its presence makes nightly activities more invigorating. Irene will love it. Oh, This one is popular with maidens and matrons who can afford it. The alchemists of Windhelm crafted this expensive fragrance for use on special occasions. Who wouldn't want to smell like wet mammoth on a warm spring day, eh?
Did I see you with that Nord? You really need to reconsider the company you keep. An audience with the proxy queen for a Nord? Well, an introduction requires certain documents. A recommendation from the appropriate sapiarch, for example, as well as an audit from the divine prosecution. And perhaps a small favor for me. A crude yet accurate analogy. Get Sapiarch Tandeman to provide a recommendation, and Justiciar Rolemdel to give Rigot a legal writ validating his credentials. Then, as a favor to me, acquire a pair of tickets to Thespian Enigma's next performance. More. You newcomers just seem to want and want and want. Very well. Which of these very necessary items would you like to ask about? Tandenman is the sapiarch of foreign observations. He's Somerset's leading expert on the cultures that aren't Altmer. He's excited about the Queen's decree, as he finally gets to meet outsiders face to face. You can find him here in Alinor. You'll have to ask the sapiarch. Perform a favor of some sort, I suppose. Nothing too outrageous. Probably he'll want some help interviewing the mass of newcomers flocking to our shores. Now, if there's nothing else... Rolemdel serves as an officer of the divine prosecution, enforcing both secular and religious law. He'll provide a legal writ that confirms Rigot's diplomatic credentials. For a small favor, of course. You can find him in Lilandril. Favors are the currency of power here in Somerset, but don't concern yourself too much about it. Rolemdel will probably just want help with some minor legal matter or another. Nothing that you and the Nord won't be able to handle. Ah, the beautiful and mysterious Enigma. I am a true admirer of her work. The Thespian might be the House of Revelry's best. I certainly think so. And so do a lot of others, based on the scarcity of tickets. I expect you can find her in Relenthiel. That's for you to solve. If Rigot actually wants to see the proxy queen, that is. Dealing with Enigma shouldn't be much different from dealing with the others. She is a high elf, after all. Favors go a long way, even at the House of Reveries.
I hope you aren't here about anything important. My schedule is completely full. I couldn't possibly squeeze you in before the mid-year Mud Crab Festival. A recommendation? I'll have you know that I don't just throw those together in a slapdash fashion. A recommendation must be researched and carefully considered. I can't be too cautious when it comes to endorsing new arrivals. Vindilween? Why didn't you say so? If you can acquire items of cultural significance from the newcomers, say something from a Khajiit, a Breton, and an Argonian, I might be persuaded to write a recommendation for Ambassador Riggert. As a matter of fact, I do. The Khajiit's name is Urjara. Exotic, don't you think? Henri Ondare is the Breton, and the Argonian calls herself Grayscale. Bring me something that belongs to them and reflects their cultures, and then we can talk.
I'm not sure what I expected when I decided to journey to Somerset, but it sure wasn't this. No rest for the weary, and always more work to do. Forgive my lack of manners. Is there something you need? Really? Well, I didn't bring much with me, just my recipes. In fact, I just made a bowl of ojisaka for Races the Moons. He hasn't tasted it since he left Murkmire. Mentioned he had a craving. I was about to take it to him in that sack. Give you Races ojisaka? I don't think so. It's extremely difficult and time-consuming to make, and I promised that bowl to my friend. You'll just have to find some other Argonian to steal from. I'm not sure what... Really? Well...
Does this one regret leaving elsewhere and making the journey to Somerset? No, for Joan and Jode watch over me and bless me with health and good fortune. How can Ordra help you, friend? This one brought a few heirlooms with her, whatever could be stuffed in my carry sack. Ordra has a Khajiit navigation stone, for example. Lets me find my way even in this strange land. I couldn't part with it, though. It has sentimental value. Convince Ordra. Let me think. No, no way at all. This one's Grand Matron carved this stone with her own 2 paws. Gave it to me on my naming day. I couldn't part with it, not for all the golden Alinor. Now, leave Urjara be. Does this one? This one? The Sapiarch? Why didn't you say it was for the Sapiarch? Of course, Urjara will let you have this beautiful Khajiit item of cultural significance, as long as it's for the Sapiarch. Please let him know that this one was happy to comply.
I have little time to waste.
Not now, friend. I haven't been able to secure work in this city, and I fear instead of opportunity, this land of high elves holds nothing but disappointment for newcomers such as me. How are you now? Well, I'm trying to find a job. Looks like we're both going to be disappointed. On the other hand, I do have this turtle clasp, crafted in the Breton style. I might be persuaded to give it to you, for the right price. It will indeed. Now, where did I put that? Oh, here it is. Take it and use it in good health, my friend. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Courtier Vindilwyn was kind enough to tell me who she sent you to perform favors for. I've been sitting here drinking and having a most pleasant conversation with Sapiarch Tandemin. Were you able to acquire the items of cultural significance he requested? You did? That is most excellent, my good friend. But Rigert has an even better idea. We should also give the Sapiarch one of my gifts. Nothing says culture like a Nord keepsake. But which one do you think he would like best? I think the Sapiarch would like an item with more permanence. Unless he has a sweet onion. Sweet onions love perfume. Oh, and by sweet onion, I mean a lover. No, the Sapiarch doesn't strike me as someone who would appreciate perfume. Try again. While the stuffed goat has sentimental value, it doesn't quite strike me as the perfect Nord cultural gift for the Sapiarch. Perhaps you... Interesting. The Night Favor depicts a beloved Nord god. It is solid and will last forever. And it might help the Sapiarch if he ever finds a sweet onion. And by sweet onion, Rigert means a lover. A perfect choice. Friend Sapiarch, here are the cultural items you asked for, along with a gift from Rigert. A Nord Night Favor.
That's everything I wanted, plus an arousing example of Nord erotica. Thank you. Here is the official letter of recommendation you requested. I appreciate your help in acquiring cultural mementos from the newcomers. I hope my letter of recommendation provides Ambassador Rigert with the opportunity to meet the Proxy Queen. She really is an interesting woman. Tell the Ambassador to be on his best behavior. The Proxy Queen is a stickler for etiquette and protocol. Thanks again for these items. Each reflects the culture that created it. And the Nord gift, I suppose I'll find a use for that, eventually.
Honestly, I think she plans to do something rash. She might even attack the guards. Ugh, never.
Sometimes I wish the criminals and lawbreakers would take a holiday. Then the officers of the Divine Prosecution could catch up on our paperwork. Is there something you need, newcomer? A writ of authenticity for a Nord ambassador? That's a highly unusual request, considering that a newcomer is the one making it. The Divine Prosecution requires weeks, sometimes even months, to properly audit diplomatic credentials. Vindilwyn, she loves to engage in the commerce of favors. Very well, a cup and bowl were stolen from the Alinor Palace. Favorites of the Queen, I'm told. Recover these items, and I might be persuaded to issue Rigert a writ of authenticity. Ideas? Plenty. Proof? Nothing that would hold up in a court of law. Not yet, anyway. But I'm more concerned with recovering the items. Stolen goods usually find their way to the pirates in Waston Coraldale. I'd start my search there if I were you.
who in oblivion are you? I left explicit instructions with the manager of this establishment that I was not to be disturbed under any circumstances. Let's keep our voice down, shall we? So, the Hulkind disappoints once again. How utterly expected. As the one who delivered my parcel, I suspect you'll want the reward. Have it, and be off with you. I'm astonished the Hulkind refused to complete this task himself. I'm sure honest work isn't easy to come by for one of his status. You cannot understand the painstaking preparation, the ritual consumption, and the artful flavors of an Indrik heart. It is a delicacy fit for only the finest gourmets. The question itself betrays your unworthiness for such pleasures. Something more important than the obligation he had to me? Hulkins have no sense of honor. It comes with being raised without a family, you know. That's why no one trusts them. Of course, an femme such as yourself wouldn't understand. A family sets expectations. Here in Somerset, all we do is for our family's honor. There's no hope for someone who doesn't have even that to guide them.
Seals. Fond of winged snakes and soggy chests. Noted. Ah, fleshy, thick-thumbed biped. Hello. You're an elf, right? Or is it a man? I'm sorry. I have some difficulty telling you people apart. You're much less blue than the others. In color, I mean, not disposition. Anyway, what can I do for you? Josiah. Wait, you're talking about that jittery mage I tricked into freeing me, right? Oh, she's a delight. I had hoped for a longer holiday. Can only manage a leap like this once a century, after all. Ah, well, I'm actually quite comfortable here, mate. Cozy accommodations, the transliminal tones of the ocean waves, gangly meat brains to mock. But I guess I should be going. These elves plan to sell me. Can you imagine? I'll help you. On one condition. When we're done sewing up these chronosymphonic when we're done sewing up these time breaches, you'll let me wander the Mundus in peace. No more dim-witted Sijiks peppering me with questions. No more dusty shells. You have a deal? Right. So, should we get going, or...? Of course you do. Everyone asks questions, and I have all the answers. Fair warning. Be specific. I'm bound to tell the truth, but the truth can be a little... slippery. You know what I mean? I'm a traveler like you. Except... well, nothing like you, to be honest. No offense. I'm what you might call an aspect, eh? Like an idea's shadow. Don't make a face, I'm telling you the truth. Not my fault your language is so crude. I'm not in the skull. I am the skull. At least here on Nern. Over in the adjacent place, I'm shaped like a throat pillow. Imagine that. You look confused. It's just a trick of the light, mate. The skull's what you might call a manifestation. Of me! Ah, this is just sad. Try this. Imagine a soul gem. Got it? Now imagine that the soul in the gem is also the gem itself. Weird, right? Ha! I'm in a head explosion. You can't see it because I haven't got any arms, but it's happening. I am one of the unfortunate quirks of the Sijic binding ritual that brought me here. I'm free to lie as much as I like, unless you, or anyone else for that matter, ask me a direct question. Cheap trick if you ask me. They did, a bit. I'm certain I could break out if I really put my mind to it. I don't blame them, honestly. If I was in their position, bobbing along like a little lost acorn in an ocean of knowledge, I'd want to trap me too. I guess, but instantaneous translocation's not like a Sundar Stroll. The veil here in Mundus is all thick and sticky, you know? Like I said before, I think I'm grounded for the foreseeable future. I will. I am. I had no idea you were so funny. We're gonna have a really good time, you and I. Yes, in answer to your direct question, I do know a lot, and by a lot, I mean basically everything. Well, an augur of the obvious wouldn't be very useful, would it? For what it's worth, I lobbied for something way more impressive. The resplendent skull of hexagonal wonders! It was forcefully vetoed. No counting for taste, I guess. Of course I do. Everything has a name. Names give a thing its shape. Birds, snowflakes, tea kettles, you get the idea. I'd tell you mine, but you'd need about 6 more tongues and a pair of symbols to pronounce it correctly, so let's not bother. Fair enough. So, where to? I assume you've got a map or something? So, you know where we're going now, right? Good. You take me to a time breach, and I'll help you spot it. Huh. This bag's a bit snug, eh?
Vindilwyn told me where she sent you. I've been having the most interesting conversation with this divine prosecution person here. Did you know the tall elves have at least 3 rules for every possibility? Oh, did you find the stolen goods? Rigert is so happy he could kiss you! The last time I did that, though, Thane Mera punched me in the nose, so... I know. Let's give the good Justiciar one of my Nord keepsakes. Which one do you think he'd like best? The Justiciar doesn't seem the type to care about how he smells. Essence of Mammoth would be wasted on him. Perhaps you could make another suggestion, my friend. Interesting. The stuffed goat represents stoic bravery, and she never breaks any rules. I mean, how could she? She's dead. Anyway, she stands for all the same things as the divine prosecution. Yes, I think that's the perfect gift to give to the Justiciar. The Nord Cultural Exchange proudly returns the Queen's stolen items. And this stuffed goat, it's a Nord treasure.
Remarkable work. I'll grant you that writ of authenticity now. A word of advice. If Vindilwyn refuses to help, remind her that the divine persecution might remember the incident at the Battle Reeve's dinner party. You performed admirably. And the fact that I don't have to tell the Queen that her favorite bowl and cup were stolen, well, that's just honey butter on the sour meat pasty. Of course, I must admit I didn't expect you to succeed, but thank you for recovering the items. As for the stuffed goat, I'll just toss that in the trash after the 2 of you leave. In the meantime, be careful when dealing with Vindilwyn. Let's just say Vindilwyn likes to maintain the upper hand. Here's a bit of advice. If she refuses to help you, tell her that the divine persecution could look into that incident at the Battle Reeve's dinner party if you were to remind me about it.
Oh, you're going to love this one. I'm seeing a tiny island surrounded by... It's either water or cats. Difficult to say. Let's hope it's the cats, eh?
Milk drinker. Milk drinker! Is that really a Nord insult? How benign. And what do you want? Can't you see I'm trying to rehearse? I always have trouble with the accents of the lesser races. You need tickets, do you? Well, so does the Sapiarch of Shimmerine, the Navy's High Battle Reeve, and the Proxy Queen of Alinor. Do you know what I need? I need to figure out how to play Hildegrom, Battle Maiden of Skyrim, before the curtain rises. Ambassador Riggert? I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Well, if he can help me find Hildegrom's voice and mannerisms, I'll happily give you 2 tickets to my next performance.
Courtier Vendilwyn told me who she sent you to talk to, and Riggert always wanted to meet a famous high elf thespian, Lady Enigma. Greetings and salutations from the Nord Cultural Exchange. Hildegrom? She's my favorite hero! I'm sure that one of my Nord gifts will inspire Enigma and help her find the voice of the Battle Maiden. But which one do you think will make her feel like a proper Nord? Essence of Mammoth, of course! Not only will it make Enigma smell like a proper Nord battle maiden, it will also make her irresistible to bull mammoths, snow bears, and half-drunk Nords. It's the perfect choice! Riggert has just the thing to make Enigma feel like a Nord. Essence of Mammoth.
What a powerful odor! It reminds me of mammoths charging across fields of ice and snow.
You smell like a proper Nord battle maiden now.
The stench! It makes me woozy, but also fills me with Nord bravado. How inspiring! Milk drinker! That's it! That's the voice! You've earned these tickets, Ambassador Riggert. Thanks to Ambassador Riggert, I feel like a proper Nord battle maiden now. I suppose I smell like one too. Isn't it exciting? Take the tickets and use them well. I expect it will be my best performance ever.
These blasted guards. Perhaps there's a window. No, that won't do. Well?
Hello. Well met, friend.
honestly never expected to see either you or Ambassador Riggett again. Can I assume this means you acquired the items I specified? So I see. I'll just file the documents away for later review, and slip those tickets into my bodice for safekeeping. We should be able to process your request and schedule an appointment for, let's say, 5 weeks from next Maundus. You're lucky I'm entertaining the Nord's request at all. Take the appointment and be grateful for this time with the Proxy Queen. I know newcomers who would kill for a meeting sometime this year, let alone in 5 weeks. Now, if you don't mind.
Riggert is so disappointed. How can I negotiate peace if I can't even get an audience with the High Elf Proxy Queen? What a terrible predicament this has turned out to be. Do you have any brilliant ideas, my friend? Of course. Threaten the snooty High Elf with a scandal. High Elves hate scandals, snooty or otherwise. Watch how Riggert negotiates a difficult situation. No, better idea. You do it! That way Riggert gets to be the good Nord. More believable that way.
Back again? You and that Nord are worse than a plague of fellrunners in a field of swamp nettles. What do you want this time? He did what? How dare he? Why, I have a mind to... No. I see how it is. Very well. Tell the Ambassador I'm impressed by his ruthless use of rumor and innuendo. I'll let the Proxy Queen know that Riggert is her next appointment.
What happened? Did the threatening words do the trick? Or is Riggert in even more trouble with the snooty High Elves now? She did? I mean, of course she did! Riggert had every confidence in you. Thank you, my friend. Take this with the gratitude of the Nord Cultural Exchange. I think you'll like it better than that stinky essence of mammoth that I saw you ogling.
Proxy Queen Eleanorway, may I present the Nord Ambassador, Riggert the Brash.
Pleased to be seeing your beautiful face, Your Majesty. Sign the treaty, and we can break for dinner. Unless you want to be negotiating first.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Ambassador. I'll listen to what you have to say, and we'll see where the evening takes us.
As long as the evening includes lots of mead, that sounds fine to me.
Ambassador, I find your Nordish inclinations to be most refreshing.
Oh, Riggert has plenty of inclinations, Your Majesty.
We look forward to finding out all about your inclinations, Ambassador Riggert. Come along. The royal chef makes a rabbit meatball pie that you'll absolutely devour.
You may have forced my hand, but that doesn't mean the Nord Ambassador will be successful in his quest. Not that it matters to me. But I hope you realize you made an enemy in the court, newcomer. I will find a way to pay you back, mark my words.